Hello and welcome back to Tetra Football. And yes, it is that time again. World Cup match day reactions. We're going to get straight into it with the first game of today being Tunisia versus Australia. Australia getting the 1-0 win, the Socceroos getting a win at the World Cup. And is it fair to say people underrated them? A lot of people thought they'd finish bottom of that group or third, but after a poor performance from Denmark, Australia are looking good to beat them and finish second. Denmark still the favourites to go through, but Australia, after a 1-0 win against Tunisia, which in the first half, brilliant going forward and still solid at the back, and second half, it still looked dangerous on the counter-attack, but they were brilliant defensively in that second half. I mean, I don't know what more they could have done to prove anyone that they are a solid team and a good team unit who are going to put in the hard yards, put in the work, put in the effort, and do whatever they can to get the 3 points in this tournament. They clearly know they're not the best team, but they are fighting like underdogs and they're showing a lot of desire to try and go through and go far in this tournament. And for me, one of the most underrated teams in this tournament at the moment, and I think they've got a serious opportunity at going through against Denmark. However, we will get on to Denmark later, talking about their game versus France, but the next game of the day was Poland versus Saudi Arabia. 2-0 win for Poland. Poland finally win a game at an international tournament, finally show a bit of threat going forward. I'll be honest, I was running the line in a football game while trying to watch this at the same time, so I couldn't see too much of it. And I mean, Saudi Arabia, they looked alright, and Poland probably a bit sloppy at times, but overall Poland just showed they've got a lot more quality in their team and did manage to get a good win in the end and give themselves a chance to go through. Then we'll talk about France versus Denmark. I actually got to watch this game and Kylian Mbappe, absolutely electric. France, the first team to confirm they are going through into the round of 16 and one of the first champions in the last 20 years to beat the champion's curse. Well done, France. Everyone thought it would happen. Everyone believed in the curse. However, France were able to beat it and go through into the knockout stages of the tournament. Kylian Mbappe, like I said, absolutely on fire. Thuram, once it came on, looked good. And for me, Lloris, not one of the best keepers that France should be relying on in this tournament, but I think France, they did show, apart from a spell where Denmark got their goal, that they're solid enough at the back. Although, for me, as long as Griezmann and Rabiot are making up part of your midfield, you're not winning the World Cup. I don't care how good Mbappe is. With Griezmann and Rabiot in that midfield area with Tchouameni, I know Griezmann still sort of plays a bit more further forward, but playing Rabiot, that's just not good enough. He's a man that refused to get called up to the team just as a reserve player, so he wasn't good enough back then, and for me, he's not good enough now. He's fortunate to be there, so for me, Brazil are probably the favourites to win over France at the moment. And Denmark, they've let people down this tournament. There are a lot of people's dark horses, and they just haven't been good enough. There's not much more you can say about them. I mean, I honestly thought they were going to get something out of that game against France when they managed to equalise, but then poor defending from the corner, to be honest. Well, not corner, for the second goal, which was a cross. And I think that Anderson, I don't know why the Palace centre-back has been put in there instead of Kier, because he just looked awful. He couldn't do anything all game. Lindstrom for Denmark did have a really good game though. Braithwaite and is it Dolberg who made good impacts after coming on, and both looked alright. And Højbjerg, another decent performance, but Denmark having to beat Australia to go through in their final game, which is a position not many expect them to be in. Quite a few people thinking they could top the group above France, but that's not going to happen anymore. And then the final game today, for me, the question, can Argentina still win the World Cup in this sort of America's derby? Argentina versus Mexico, middle of America versus south of America. A little bit of history between the two, and Mexico in the first half, I mean, they made Argentina look poor. Mexico were up for it, they were fired up, they were going into tackles, they were aggressive, fast-paced, and for me, the same thing that's going to be the issue of Mexico until they get a Raul Jimenez replacement. They lacked goals. They lacked the finishing touch, which isn't ideal for them. They'd be expecting, in that first half, they should have been expecting to go in 2-0 up, and then this game could have ended 2-2. I think it was really poor from Mexico just to not have someone to put that finishing touch and score a goal for them. And to be fair, they did look pretty good, although in the second half, Argentina showed they've got that bit more quality. Messi, obviously, great touch and a finish. I mean, great goal from him. For me, greatest player of all time, hands down. He is alien. And Argentina, they put themselves in a much better position after a disgraceful 2-1 loss to Saudi Arabia in the first game. And let me know in the comments down below, so that's the end of this video. Do you think Argentina can still win the World Cup? Personally, I don't think they'll just be able to do it. Their fullbacks were looking really weak, and I don't think that the rest of their defence is all that much either. So for me, Argentina, they might make semi-finals, but I don't think they'll be able to win it overall. Maybe even make the final, but that will be another heartbreak for Messi, so I don't see them winning it at the moment. So comment about Argentina, their chances to win, or anything else from this video. Remember to subscribe as well, and I'll see you guys next time.